Hi, this is Jim with Quartz Renew. One of the top issues with quartz countertops has to do with coatings. There are several coatings that are put on quartz countertops that down the road actually cause issues. This can be in the form of the plastic sheathing that comes on the slabs. We found that the adhesive can transfer onto the surface and cause a blotchy finish down the road. Sealers that are applied that eventually come off in patches. And polishes. Those are the three major coatings that we find are put onto quartz countertops that can cause finish issues down the road. So today we're going to show you a repair method that's a little untraditional and getting this coating off the surface and getting back to an even finish. So the job we're on now is likely mostly from polish that's been applied. The polishes that are in cleaners. If you get a cleaner, or homeowner gets a cleaner that says cleans and shines, that means it has a polish. And over time, the finish will become blotchy as it wears off. So you can do one of two things. You can bring it back to an even finish, or you can apply polish for the rest of your life. Your choice. So today we're going to show you how to get this coating off the surface using the Quartz Renew products. And hopefully that helps you in your future jobs. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a very uneven finish. This is a 2-slab island, which has a very blotchy finish all over. Pretty sure that this has to do with the polish. So we're here to basically strip that off mechanically without damaging the surface. So a quick test that you can do before you start working on a quartz surface is do the water test. Okay, so if you put water on a granite surface, for example, and it beads up aggressively, that's a good thing. That means that it's that there's a good amount of sealer there, that it hasn't broken down yet. That's what we want to see. On quartz, that is not what we want to see. And that's where the misunderstanding comes in when it comes between natural stone and quartz surfaces. So I'm going to put some water on the surface here just as a starter, and you'll see how aggressively it separates and beads up. And that tells me, before I even start, what the primary issue is. So I put some water on the surface here. Okay, I spread it around. As you can see, it's separating aggressively. Okay, what that's telling me is that there's something on the surface that's repelling the water and causing that look. When we're finished, I will do the same thing, and you'll notice that it's just a sheen of water. There's nothing there that's repelling it, and that tells me that we've gotten that coating off the surface. Okay, so this repair method is fairly simple. For those of you in the trade, I would say that this could possibly even be a DIY project if you're fairly handy. A little bit different than the typical type of repair where we're using rotary polishers. Okay, in this job we're using a random orbit polisher. This is a gem sander. It's been used for years in things like Corian refinishing and things like that, car applications. I like this because it is the random orbit. A direct drive here is going to be too aggressive and will dull the top too much. If you're not familiar with how random orbit works, it's not just a circular motion, it's a circular motion that's weighted. So the head of the polisher is what I call shimmying around. Okay, so it's more of a scrubbing action than it is a polishing action. So we're using the gem random orbit polisher, and we're putting a gray ScotchBrite pad on the backer pad, okay, with a soft backer. Okay, so that's the polisher, and we're using the first step of our Quartz Renew, which is snakeskin revealer, which is typically used to get the texture back after diamond polishing, getting a scratch out, so forth. In this case, it's yet another use for this first step. This is the only step we'll be using. We don't have to go through multiple steps, and we'll end up with a nice even finish. To start the process, we're going to apply the snakeskin revealer a liberal amount to the surface. If at any time when you're working the area, if the polish begins to become dry, You want to either apply more polish or add a little bit of water. So we're going to add a little bit of water now from the start, just to make sure that it does stay wet. And we're going to take the random orbit polisher and work the surface. In the random orbit motion, the polish and the gray ScotchBrite is the right combination to remove that coating from the surface but not damage the quartz countertop itself. So as we work the surface, we're going to rotate the polisher in small circles, and we're going to move from front to back in rows, overlapping about 1/4 of a pad. So here we're going front to back. You want to keep your speed and everything pretty consistent. And as we finish up moving front to back, we're going to move side to side. And this just helps us get the most even finish we can get, and also making sure that we're removing all the coating off the surface. There are different applications that cause this same type of look. Like I said, I believe this one has to do with the polish. It may be removed a little easier. A common issue in many markets, I know it's a big issue in our market because it's so hot here, that the plastic sheathing that comes on the slabs, the adhesive will transfer onto the surface and literally gets baked onto the surface. So in some cases you may need to make several passes to get all of that off and get an even finish. So we've gone front to back and side to side now. And now we just want to wet it down, squeegee it off, and clean it very well. I think it's a good idea to have 2 microfiber towels with you during this process. But after you've squeegeed it off, you can use one that's wet to get any residue that's still there off. So finally, we use a dry towel to wipe the surface thoroughly to get all the residue off the surface to see our final finish. If a second pass is necessary, by all means make a second pass. In most cases, it will clean it up on the first pass. So after our first pass, the area is cleaned up very well. As you can see on the bottom side of your picture, if you notice, the surface is shinier. Okay, so that is the remaining coating that is on the surface. Because quartz is a textured surface, when coatings are applied, it actually increases the shine. Understanding that that's what most people want, you've seen the issues that it causes down the road. So that's a choice that people will have to make if they want to keep applying a polish or a sealer. You can see clearly in this shot that it does change the surface sheen. Okay, so I hope this demonstration has helped you and enlightened you as to the issues that can come up with quartz countertops. This is one that we just happen to run into quite a bit. So I thought it was time to share with our customers another way to save remake countertops. That's literally our existence. Quartz Renew is to help fabricators from having to remake countertops. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. As you can see, the area that we just worked on, pretty quick and great results. So we're going to just keep going here. This is a live job. It's a 2-slab island that we have to finish out. And just for reference, I would say this 2-slab island would take us about an hour to do, which ultimately could save $8,000–$10,000 over a remake. So the customer's happy, we're happy, everybody's happy. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, take care.